All right, and we are back again with the Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin any percent tournament on Speed Souls. Today we have the losers finals between Pseudostripy on the left and Nick Style on the right. Two top runners on the leaderboards, so an exciting final to have before the grand finals next week, where the winner of today's run will be up against Fujo Horer. On commentary today, we have Alibaba SFC. Hello, Ali.
Yep, hello.
As well as Luthalaril,
Hey,
better
how's
known
it
as
going?
Luth. And I am Stennis, organizing the tournament, but I will not be doing the commentary today. Just giving you guys the introduction and letting you know that we are very close to the end and have the few last exciting runs to go here. So I think the runners are nervously waiting to start here. I can see Pseudo twitching in the menu there. So I'll give you guys the countdown and you can start to run. So in 3, 2, 1. Good luck, guys.
Alright, good luck, guys. So, this is Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First in any percent, and basically the main goal of the first half of the game is to get to Drain Lake Castle, and in order to get to Drain Lake Castle you need to get past this area called the Shrine of Winter. But in order to open the doors of the Shrine of Winter, you either need to collect the 4 Great Souls or collect 1 million souls. And it turns out collecting 1 million souls is way faster than the kind of intended route. So what they're going to do is you're going to see the both runners, they're going to start with the Bandit class and the Bonfire Skeptic Gift. And what that item does is, when you use it at a bonfire, it basically resets the area you're in to the NG Plus version of whatever NG you're on. So they're going to do that, they're going to manipulate that and kill a specific boss multiple times to get lots of souls.
So you're also going to see that they're both going to go for the soul behind the cart here. The reason for that is we need 200 souls very early in the run to buy a firebomb for the first trick of the run. And the reason we start Bandit is Bandit has 2 advantages, well, probably 3 advantages. 1, the hand axe is very good at killing the first boss. 2, it comes with a bow, which we use in multiple places in the run. It's the only class that starts with a bow. And 3rd is it comes with enough dexterity to use the rapier by default, which is the weapon for the majority of the run. So both runners you see are going to head to Majula here, and they're going to make this jump, the Bino jump. It's because the item on the ground there is the binoculars. And they're going to go talk to the Emerald Herald and pick up the Estus Flask.
Yeah, and they're going to pick up the Majula Bonfire, because Majula is basically the main hub of this game, similar to kind of like the Nexus and Demon Souls, and use Emerald Herald to level up as well.
Yeah, unfortunately we can't level up at bonfires like we can in Dark Souls 1. Unfortunately Dark Souls 1 is the only game in the series that lets you do that. We have to come back and level up in the hub, like in Demon Souls or in Bloodborne.
Yeah, and Dark Souls 3.
Yeah. And you see both runners now are at this gate. They're going to organize their menus a little bit, and they're going to use that soul. So now they have 200 souls, which is how much it costs to buy a firebomb.
Yeah, and they went for obviously what we call the cart soul, and that allows them to do this jump over the bridge here, which is faster than dropping down to the water to grab the Homeward Bone and soul there.
Yeah, it's got 2 benefits. Number 1 is it's of course faster. But number 2 is that it's also safer because you get to heal at Melentia where you buy the firebomb instead of having to use the soul, so you get to have full health.
Yeah, and as Luth mentioned, they need to buy a firebomb from the NPC Melentia, and that's because near the Cardinal Tower bonfire there's a wall, and behind the wall there's a couple of barrels, and if you throw a firebomb at them they'll explode, and they'll open up a shortcut. Now, normally you would do that from the other side, but it turns out if you just nudge yourself against the wall and aim your camera down and throw the bomb, it will actually have the same effect, which means you can just open up the shortcut early and save like 30 seconds.
This ladder can be a real pain, but it looks like both runners are going to get through without any trouble. So we're going to see Pseudo here use his life gem while talking to Melentia. The way for doing that is you talk and use an item at basically the same time. It's normally used to use souls while talking to NPCs, but you can actually do it with any item in the game. Nick is having a little bit of trouble with bomb wall.
Oh.
Hopefully he can pull these guys away and just run in and get it really quick.
Nice.
Yeah, nice, he got through. Pseudo making it through with no problems, and he's going to the fog gate, and he makes it. That fog gate can also be a bit of an issue. If you go in with low health, those guys can poke you, and it'll damage you without staggering you, so you'll die during your roll animation. But
Yeah, the beginning of this game is very Monka Shake and Scholar.
It's especially difficult starting as Bandit because you start with only 3 ADP, which means you have almost no iframes.
Yeah, and now Pseudo's entering the first boss of the run, which is Last Giant.
Well, apparently my mic is quite low compared to Alibaba, so I'm going to see if turning myself up helps at all. Maybe that's a little better.
Yeah, that sounds better to me anyway. So yeah, Last Giant's a pretty technical fight when you start trying to run DS2. You can either obviously bait out his leg storm attacks, or you can strafe to his side and bait some arm attacks. But yeah, it looks like Pseudo's getting a pretty clean fight. Never mind, I jinxed it at the last second.
Spoke it into existence.
Alright, nice fight for Nick as well. And you see they Dark Sign out the fight. Normally Dark Sign obviously takes away all your souls, but if you Dark Sign after a boss before you get their souls, then you will get to keep them, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, you have to Dark Sign pretty quickly, but not too quickly. So basically, with the hand axe, if you Dark Sign as soon as the attack animation's finished, you will always keep your souls. If you have enough ADP and you're attacking with a fast enough weapon, you can actually do it too early though.
Yeah. And they bought the Leningrad key, which is going to be used to open the blacksmith store in Majula. They also bought these 2 items called the Bright Bug, which is probably the most OP item in this run, which is basically, it's a DLC item, and what it does, it gives you a 50% increase to damage and defense.
I think it's 20%, not 50.
Is it 20?
I think it's 20% increased damage and 20% reduced damage. It's not quite as broken as 50%, but it is an incredibly useful item in the run.
I need to DM Pseudo now. He gave me some false info.
I think if it was 50%, it would be mandatory on a lot more bosses.
They also got the Coveted Silver Serpent Ring, which I'm pretty sure gives you 20% extra souls for each enemy you kill.
It is 20, yeah, for that. Yeah. Plus 1 is 20, plus 0 is 15.
Yeah, and they're gonna get the Bastille Bonfire and head back to Majula.
Yep. So we come this way because we have to come back here later, but the boss here is pretty difficult, so we want to come back here with a strong weapon. So you see Pseudo, he opened the door to the blacksmith and he rests at the bonfire because you can't talk to the blacksmith until you reset the area. Fastest way to do it is just sit at the bonfire. And you see him there that he soul canceled the boss soul while talking to the blacksmith as well.
Yeah, it's a nice little time save. And yeah, they got a +3 rapier and a mace, and they're gonna, as you see Pseudo, he's gonna go murder this helpless NPC so he can get the Telsdora set, which he drops, which also, like the Serpent Ring, gives you extra souls for each enemy you kill when you have it equipped.
Yeah, the combined soul bonus for having the ring and the set is about 49%. So it's a lot of extra souls to wear all this stuff.
Yeah, and they're going to be using that in conjunction with each other for the rest of the route to get the souls they need.
But armor in this game is very heavy, and when you're wearing armor, your stamina regenerates slower. So what you're going to see is they're going to be unequipping and re-equipping armor after every boss fight, basically just to get souls. And then they're going to take it off right away so they can have lots of stamina. So we're seeing both runners now making it down the pit. That's gonna they're on their way to the Rotten, which is a boss that we're gonna get real friendly with. We're gonna fight him a lot of times.
Yeah, and yeah, the Rotten is a pretty. It's one of the more technical fights, and certainly one of the more annoying ones. But it's, as Luke mentioned, the boss that you have to fight 4 times, so it's not very fun.
He's not a very difficult boss, but I think casually you're intended to actually fight him last, because the way down to him, if you don't buy the cat ring, you either need like close to 30 vigor, or you go all the way to Earthen Peak and you unlock the ladders to climb down. So I don't think he's intended to be the first lord you fight. But he's
Yeah, I mean,
he's the fastest to get to with the stuff that we can acquire, so he's what we fight first.
the thing is, the Rotten boss itself is quite easy. The problem is doing it fast is not very easy.
That's kind of the rule of speedrunning, though, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
one of the most difficult fights in this run, especially with RTSR, is Prowling Magus and Congregation, but casually it's one of the easiest bosses in the game.
Yeah, and you saw Pseudo use the first Bright Bug, which you can use for the Rotten. That's mainly because at this point in the game, we've only got basically base stats with just basically rudimentary +3 rapier. So we need all the damage we can get for this fight.
Yeah, and the reason he used it outside the fog gate, that's actually not the ideal place to use it. But use it outside the fog gate because there's a chance if you use it at the optimal stamina location that you'll get invaded by Forlorn and be unable to use your Bright Bug. Because much like Homeward Bones, you can't use Bright Bugs while you're invaded by NPCs.
Yeah, so in the Scholar, the first in version, they added the Forlorn Invader, which sometimes you'll just randomly invade in certain areas.
So you see Pseudo now entering the Rotten. So you see the damage. It's not that great, but it's not that bad either. But he's going to go right for the arm, trying to cut the arm off as soon as possible. Makes the fight much faster.
Yeah, the general rule of thumb with Rotten is just get his cleaver arm off as quick as possible. And then the rest of the fight, as long as he doesn't do too awful attacks, the rest of the fight will be pretty comfy at that point.
He's getting terrible RNG here, though.
He got the arm, luckily, though.
Got the arm now. So thankfully, this fight should go pretty quick. You see Nick now, he's going for the arm as well. Thankfully, no Forlorn invasions for either runner, though. So Pseudo now warping out of Rotten 1.
It's a pretty nice time.
Pretty good, 11:27. That's not bad for a race.
He's going for the Ascetic Warp.
Nick bullying the Rotten, though, both arms coming off. And he's about 9 seconds behind right now, it looks like. I think almost. Oh, and Nick also going for the Ascetic Warp. And he's going to get it, too.
Nice. So that saves like
It's
8 seconds? 5 seconds?
I think it's about 10 seconds saved, yeah. The
nice.
Ascetic animation is quite long, but it's also probably one of the hardest tricks in the game. And if you mess it up, the run is over. You can't complete it.
So yeah, they both runners just hit the first level up of the run. And they bought Fragment Branch. They also got one in the Gutter and Black Gulch. Because you need 3 of them. You need one in Bastille, one in Black Gulch, and one in the area coming up here.
So I think based on levels, we're going to see both runners go for Red Tear Stone Ring, which is going to give them a 20% damage boost as long as they're below 30% health. You can tell basically that when they get 24 endurance, 23 dexterity, that is the levels you would use for a Red Tear Stone Ring run.
So the ring is not as broken as in Dark Souls 1, where you get like a 50% damage increase. But which is why a lot of people who run this game don't opt to go for early RTSR, because it saves about a minute. I think Fujo told me.
About a minute over the course of the run. Yep.
Yeah. But the thing is, because you have to go out your way to get it, you pretty much, if you want to get as much time save as possible, you pretty much have to use it on the vast majority of fights, which
It actually looks like Nick
Yeah.
isn't getting it. He didn't do the Noshka setup, so he either isn't getting it or he isn't using it for Noshka.
Yeah. Well, this is going to be pretty interesting to see.
So we're going to see Nick pull ahead here because it takes about 30 seconds to go pick up the red tier stone ring, but then Pseudo is going to start making that back slowly on every fight.
Yeah. So this is the Ruined Folkroad bonfire, which is also one of the most important bonfires in the game. I'll be coming back here quite a bit.
Yeah, there's 3 paths that lead out of this area, and we have to go down all 3, so we're going to be coming back here. Yeah, so Nick is skipping red tier stone ring. He's just going to head straight for Vengarl to pick up some gold pine resins and a claymore, which we're going to use for just one boss.
Oh, this race just got really interesting now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if the no RTSR will work out. I think Pseudo will make the time back, but it's going to be riskier for him.
Yeah. So they buy. You saw Nick. He bought some gold pan resins and the claymore. The claymore will be used on the Congregation Magus fight, and the gold pan resin is just a lightning buff, which they'll use on the rapier throughout the run.
Yeah, there's many different kinds of resin in Dark Souls 2, the weapon buffs, but most bosses are weak to lightning, and the gold pine resins are also very easy to get a hold of. And you saw Nick pick up the human effigy off of the corpse near Vengarl, and there's 2 reasons to do that. One is human effigies are great if you die, and the other reason is if you get invaded by Forlorn in Brightstone Cove Seldora, you can just suicide and you'll still have enough souls to upgrade your weapon after.
Yeah, and you also saw Nick got the Chlorophy ring, which is a ring that gives you extra stamina regeneration, or faster stamina regeneration, which is quite nice to have.
Yeah, it's about 20% faster stamina regeneration.
Yeah, definitely makes the run a lot more comfy.
So Nick now is approaching Scorpioness Noshka. This is one of the most RNG heavy boss fights in the run. She can be really nice to you and the fight goes really great, or she can be really mean to you and it takes forever and it's a huge pain in the ass.
So yeah, he's gonna
hit her once there to make her go underground, and then he's gonna buff his weapon while she pops back up. And then you're going to see him focus on the tail as much as possible to try to bait these attacks like what he just got. He just got the best attack that you can.
Ah, nice.
And he gets perfect RNG. You're going to see that she dies during this combo. Perfect Noshka fight.
Yeah, Pseudo's going to do the same thing. You will see, obviously, the damage difference between two runners, and obviously Pseudo's got the extra risk attached to that.
But he gets the great opener as well, so really, really good. And we're gonna see him basically kill her in a full stamina bar less.
Yeah, perfect fight for both runners there.
Yeah, really good. So you see that Pseudo menued on the armor after the boss died, because in this game it's about 5 seconds after the boss dies before it gives you the souls, so you have plenty of time to just menu on the armor. I see Pseudo's wearing the hat for fashion. Fashion's very important.
Yeah, and the reason they got the mace earlier was because there are these little creatures called these little lizards. I always forget what they're called though.
They're just crystal lizards, as far as I know.
The crystal lizards, and they drop some useful upgrade materials, but they're pretty difficult to kill with the rapier, so we just use the mace instead.
Yeah, the mace is very good at stunning them, and it also swings vertically, so it's a lot easier to hit them. And you see that they're going to use the mace to kill them, and then they're going to unequip the mace right away, and that's basically just for the same reason they're unequipping the armor. The mace is heavy, so they want to have that max stamina regeneration. Yeah,
and they also bought some Alluring Skulls, which, when thrown, will attract enemies to that spot. So you'll see Nick use it here. to get these enemies out of the way of the door.
Yeah, so this whole area is, in this area we're getting enough materials to upgrade our weapon to +10, and also there's a bonfire aesthetic after this next boss, and that's the main two reasons that we're here. And we're going to see Nick buff his weapon with lightning, and then he also has the claymore equipped in his second slot.
So yeah, as Aloof mentioned, this is casually one of the easiest fights in the game, if not the easiest. But it's pretty technical in a speedrun though. So yeah, they're gonna kill the mages.
So they want to kill want to kill these mages first because they can do two things, and both of them are bad. Thing number one is they buff the defense of themselves and everyone around them. And thing number two is if they're at low health, they will heal, and it's an AoE heal. It'll heal everybody. So you want to get those guys out of the way right away. And you see Nick had a really good fight there.
Yeah, and then you see Pseudo, he's going to throw some Alluring Skulls now. Go kill off Magus, and then he's going to use the Claymore to finish off Congregation.
Yeah, so they throw the Alluring Skull there to get the guys to group up a little bit. And then once they're all in the same spot, then they're going to clear them out with the Claymore. It doesn't look like Pseudo's using the Claymore too much, actually.
No, he's a rapier boy.
But the idea is you use the Alluring Skulls there to get them all to clump up together so you can kill them all really quickly. You see Nick now is using his mace to kill the other lizards that are required. And you see Pseudo climbing the ladder to grab the bonfire aesthetic, which Nick has already done. So this next lizard is the tricky lizard. He can be a bit of a pain. If you're not careful, he can run off the ledge there, and you miss some very vital upgrade materials.
Yeah.
And Nick now is just going to grab the last couple of Titanite chunks that he needs, and then he's going to use his Homeward Bone to get out of here.
Yeah, and then he's gonna warp to Medulla and get the +10 rapier, and then that will be the weapon he'll use for the rest of the run. Oh, nice. The jetpack from Pseudo.
Pseudo gets the big jetpack, yeah, so that lets you skip basically the item pickup animation, and you pick up the item on the lower ledge instead of the upper ledge. And we see
pretty clean segment, yeah.
Yeah, for both runners actually doing it pretty clean. Pseudo's a few seconds behind, but of course picked up RTSR.
So yeah, now they're going to warp to Bastille to kill Sentinels, and then after that they're going to pick up the last bonfire aesthetic they need, and then it'll be time for the Rotten Marathon. But will Nick go for the door skip though, is the real question.
That is, I think both runners are probably watching. I don't know how risky Nick's going to play with the lead, but it looks like he's going for it.
PogChamp.
And he makes it. No problem. Style points to Nick on that one.
Yeah, so you can
no
jump
double
up
kill though.
Yeah, you can jump up onto the ledge there and save about 5 seconds. It's not too difficult, but it is a bit.
It's more difficult than he made it look, but it's not that hard.
Yeah, it's a bit finicky. The problem is if you can slide off, and if you die, then yeah, you lose like 30 seconds. So it's not very ideal.
Yeah, it's rare to die to that jump. You have to have a pretty bad angle to die. Usually at worst you'll lose about 1 second. Just because you'll jump too far to the right and you'll kind of just slide down the wall and land on the path. So you see Nick entering the Ruin Sentinels fight. Casually, this is probably one of the hardest fights in the game for where it's placed.
I was about to mention how we were talking about how the easiest fights for casual players is normally the hardest in these speedruns, but the hardest fights for casual players are normally some of the easiest.
Yeah, I mean, normally like you don't come here with the game is not prepared for you to come here with a +10 weapon and resin, so you just absolutely melt these guys. Both runners are having a little bit of a rough start with this boss, but Nick made it through okay. Pseudo's killed the first guy. I think we're going to see slightly different paths here. I think Nick is going to take the old route through here so he can use both souls, and I think Pseudo will take the reroute.
Nick not even doing Jeff pathing.
No.
It's a disgrace.
No, he told me he'll always stay with the old path.
Well, he did do the door skip, to be fair.
That's true, he did. So I think Pseudo missed door skip, so that's 1 style point to Nick and none to Pseudo in this area.
Yeah, so Pseudo is going to go for Jeff pathing here.
Yep. So there's if you make this jump that he's about to do, it's about an 8-second time save. But if you miss the jump and land on the ground, it's not. But he makes the jump, no problem.
Yeah, shout out to Jeff, by the way.
Yeah, Jeff found some pretty insane time saves in this game. He's found a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so now Nick's going to make his way to Black Gulch to do fight Rotten 3 more times. And then after that, he's going to pop the souls they get, and then you will be at a nice million.
Yeah, it's pretty tight with the 4 Rottens and all the other bosses that we kill along the way. You're about 1,010,000 souls, so very little room for error. So we see Nick here entering Rotten 2, and we're seeing Pseudo warp to the Rotten, and he's going to poison himself along the way to put himself in RTSR range.
Yeah, so there's we have around 14 vigor. There's a poison setup here, which so you get poisoned, and the poison. You basically, with this vigor, you survive just barely long enough for the duration of the poison.
The only reason
you
survive here is because in this game, when you're poisoned and you're in a cutscene, the poison continues to tick down, but you actually don't take any damage from it. So the few frames of poison that you get in the cutscene is what lets you survive.
Yeah, and these fights are basically the bulk of the time save for early RTSR.
Yeah, if you get good RNG, I think you can save about 5 seconds per boss over a non-RTSR with equal RNG. So there we see Pseudo clearing Rotten 2. Nick heading down the hill into Rotten 3.
Got the good opener.
He got a very good opener, so hopefully he can get a nice early arm break here. Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a good follow-up. Getting another one. This arm feels invincible with no RTSR, Rotten 3. It feels like it takes 1,000 hits to break it, speaking from experience.
I know, it's so painful to watch as well.
It's brutal because on Rotten 2 it's about 5 direct hits, and Rotten 4 with the Bright Bug it's 5 or 6, and on Rotten 3 it's like 7 or 8. It's awful. So we see Pseudo making up quite a lot of time on this fight with RTSR. Rotten 3 it's a big time save to have RTSR.
Yeah, because obviously when you use the ascetic, obviously the boss, while he drops more souls, he also does more damage and gets more health. So
yeah, one of the big benefits of doing RTSR for Rotten is, for the most part, you can't survive a hit from Rotten 3 or Rotten 4 anyway, so doing it with 1 HP or full HP doesn't matter. There's a couple attacks you can survive, but for the most part, you're just going to get one-shotted, so you might as well just use RTSR. So we see Pseudo closed a lot of gap there. They're getting quite close together now.
Not good RNG for Nick here though.
No, pretty terrible RNG. Not getting a lot of cleaver attacks.
Nice.
And Nick gets the arm, and now Pseudo hopefully can get good RNG and break the arm pretty early as well. Nice, Pseudo got the arm also. Nick is just bullying Rotten today, breaking both arms multiple times.
Alright, 9. Pretty clean fight. See, only a few seconds apart from both runners here. So yeah, now Nick's gonna pop the last couple of souls he's got, and then he's gonna buy some bright bugs and some life gems, and then he's gonna do the final level up of the run.
So it looks like Pseudo now he started the Rotten Gauntlet at about 24 seconds behind. He finished it about 9 seconds behind, so he closed the gap quite a lot.
Yeah, and there are some more fights coming up that he can do RTSR on. We'll see if he does though.
So now we're doing a big level up, so both runners should end up with 18 Vigor, 47 Endurance, 40 Strength, 40 Dex, and 8 ADP. And that's going to be the final levels for the whole run. And then they're going to head to Ruin Fork Road, and now we have enough souls to push the door open to Shrine of Winter.
Yeah, and as...
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, as Luf mentioned earlier with ADP, for some reason in Dark Souls 2 they tied iframes to a stat called Agility, which is tied to the ADP stat. And obviously the Bandit starts at the lowest ADP, and they used free ADP up to this point, but the reason they upgraded up to 8 is because there are bosses like Velstadt later on which have attacks which you literally basically cannot dodge with free ADP, so they really needed to level that up as well.
Yeah, it's ADP is, I mean, it's pretty important all the time, but it's very important on fights like Velstadt. It's also pretty important on, like, Demon of Song can be quite hard to dodge with low ADP as well.
So you'll see they're about to get to the Draenei Castle gates, and for some deep lore reasons, they made it so that there are these 2 stone golems, and you need to kill an enemy near them for it to absorb some souls. And you need to do that for both of them for the gate to open.
It's honestly one of my favorite mechanics in the game, is the souls activating the golems thing. I wish it was explored a little further than the very basic level that we got. I think it's very cool.
Yeah, and there'll be that mechanic will only be seen about 3 times in this run.
Yeah, we're gonna see it once here to open the gate, once to open the door down below, and then once more to activate an elevator later on.
Now Nick's just gotta chill while he's waiting now.
Yeah, Pseudo's also activated the gate, but he's going to take a few hits here and build up his RTSR. So we're going to see him take one more hit here with a block to put himself in RTSR range. He's just going to kill this guy. And you see Nick using a gold pine resin there because he has a spare gold pine resin. It's going to save him a hit on an enemy down below. Pseudo waving to the crowd. Insane showmanship.
Let's see if Nick gets another dance floor. Not this time.
No dance floor for Nick today.
Yeah, and Nick's gonna go kill one of the enemies to activate the door opening, and then while he's waiting, he's gonna run back and grab the bonfire, which he will need to come fight the final bosses at the end.
Yeah, there's very few required bonfires in the any percent run. It's basically just the Rotten Bonfire, Majula, Ruin Fork Road, this one, and the one in Lost Bastille. I think those are the only ones that are actually required to finish the game. Oh, I guess the one before Mirror Knight as well.
Yeah.
So Nick there, he grabbed the old Radiant Life Gems off the ground. Pseudo actually skips those.
That was surprising, actually.
He has some insane big brain Pseudo strats
Yeah,
where he doesn't need them.
It looks like Pseudo's putting out some pretty YOLO-ish strats today. We'll see if it costs him, though.
So the reason you'll notice Nick's wearing a bow on his back right now, the reason for that is this next boss, Twin Dragon Riders, one of them is standing up top, on top of a pillar, and he shoots at you with a bow. But if you shoot at him with a bow, for some reason his AI is programmed to just step forward off the ledge.
Yeah,
and he has much lower health than the second one, so it's very easy to just kill him first.
Yeah, they gave him really low health, and I think the reason for that is because you're meant to kill the melee guy first, and then the other one would come down. But you can just shoot him and he'll fall down anyway.
And you see Nick there destroys him in 3 hits. Even without RTSR, he has very low health. Very clean fight for both runners. The gap is very close now.
Yeah, it's like 3 or 4 seconds apart.
Yeah. So you see Nick's feeling the pressure. He skipped that bonfire, which is a very risky thing to do. You see Pseudo lit the bonfire. If he dies up here to these mannequins, which is very possible, that's a big time loss, probably upwards of 2 minutes.
Yeah, and this is the final golem kind of activation, because you need to activate this elevator to go get a key, which you need to open a door to get to Mirror Knight, which is a boss you need to fight to continue the game. And in the vanilla version, it's quite an easy setup, but in Scholar, you have to use these mannequins, which are very spooky.
In vanilla, some of these stone soldiers here, they'll activate when you walk close to them. And in Scholar, for whatever reason, none of these stone soldiers will activate. So you have to go get these mannequins, which at this health can absolutely kill you in one combo.
Yeah, and they also bleed you on the 3rd hit, so you're pretty much done at that point.
We see Nick there gets it no problem with the bow strat, where he lowers their health to 1-shot range and then shoots him in the head with the bow to get the kill. And Pseudo also made it through no problem. Pseudo's going to stop here as well and set up his red tier stone ring for the next boss. So he's going to stop here. There's no time loss in doing what Pseudo's doing right now, because once you kill the mannequin, you're on a cycle. The elevator just takes a long time to come down, so you can basically mess around for 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's one of the longest, if not the longest elevator in the game. Yeah, now,
so now you see them cleaning up their menus, doing whatever they got to do, because it's about a 40-second elevator ride, and there's nothing you can do but wait.
Yeah. So the next boss, Mirror Knight, has been nicknamed Consistent Knight, because basically it's if you do the same cycle of hits on him every time, you can bait him into doing a specific lightning attack. And if you don't mess up, then it's 100% consistent.
Yeah, it's very execution heavy. If you don't move the right way, you'll get hit, and once you get hit, it's very hard to get the cycle back. But as long as your execution is good, then you should never get hit, and you should be able to kill the boss really easily. Runners are very close right now. They're basically a dark sign animation apart.
Yeah, and that's why they got the bonfire there, so they could dark sign back to it. And yeah, hopefully both runners will do the proper execution here.
So you're going to see them both, they're going to just run into the boss fight with no weapon buff, and that's because he always opens with the same attack. He'll jump attack you, and you can run right underneath him. And then they're going to buff while he recovers from that attack.
Yeah. Run under, use GPR.
And then he turns around, and you want to bait him into doing this swing, and then if you go in and start attacking, he'll always do this lightning attack.
I've never seen Mirror Knight do a jump attack there before.
Oh, Pseudo, no. If you walk too far away, he'll do that.
Yeah, that's a pretty major time loss. Well,
Yeah,
not too major,
and then
but yeah.
well, he doesn't do the cycle properly. If you mess that up, it's hard to get back into the cycle. So I think Pseudo ran too far forward in the room, and that's what caused it.
Yeah.
Is instead of doing his horizontal swing, you're so far away that he does a jump attack to try to catch up to you.
Well, now we're going to be entering the area which has kind of been nicknamed the Great Equalizer for this tournament, which is probably the worst area in this game, called the Shrine of Amana.
I quite like Shrine of Amana casually, but I don't like Shrine of Amana in the speedrun at all. It's very difficult to speedrun through. It's gorgeous to look at. The enemies are really interesting, but it's hell to run through. It's very difficult.
Yeah, when I ran vanilla, I always used to think Amana was pretty tough, and then I saw the Scholar runs, and I was like, well, I have it super easy.
It's much easier in vanilla than it is in Scholar.
Yeah, so the main problems obviously are the fact that, first of all, you slow walk in water while the enemies don't. The Archdrakes do a hella ton of damage, and they also have this stab attack, which you pretty much can't roll.
Yeah,
And also,
I don't
yeah,
understand the stab attack. I gotta think double poke for Nick. Very unlucky. I think the stab attack, just the hitbox stays active, so even when you roll it, there's still a damage zone, and you just get hit anyway.
yeah, and they also there's also these spellcasters which fire soul arrows, which pretty much follow you throughout the entire arena until you dodge them.
Yeah, the tracking on the soul arrows is unbelievable. They're insane snipers. So you see Nick there kind of hugs against that mage to bait her into a melee swing while he heals. And he pops a life gem there to get full health back. Oh no, Nick gets
You
Forlorn
got a
Mana.
Forlorn.
Okay, so let's see
This
how
might
he
be
handles
interesting.
this. This is going to be really, really tough. We see Pseudo is wearing some armor there. The reason to wear armor there is that it gives you some poise. So if you get hit by a soul arrow, it won't stagger you the first time.
Yeah, you
And
can survive.
see,
What you can? Yeah, you can.
you can take one.
You can poise through one of them. Yeah.
Yeah. We see Nick throwing on the armor now as well. Especially since with Forlorn right behind him, he's going to have to do this very fast.
Yeah. So YOLO amount of time for Nick.
Oh, Forlorn Suicide. Unbelievable.
Oh, nice.
And he makes it through. Amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty amazing.
And he's skipping the third bonfire here. He's just going to head straight for the boss fight.
Pseudo also going for YOLO Foggate.
Yeah.
Ooh, look.
Oh, poke is bad because they don't take as long to recover for it. It can be very tight here. But he makes it through. No problem.
Very nice Amana for both runners.
So now you get invaded here as well by Peculiar Kindler. He can hit you at the fog gate to the boss if you're not careful. So you're going to see both runners are going to enter on the left side because then his magic can't hit you as easily. So Nick's now entering Demon of Song. Not a very difficult boss, but he can give you kind of bad attacks, and he does hit pretty hard.
It looks like Nick should get a 2-cycle here.
Yeah, this should be an easy 2-cycle. Kind of a bad attack, that one. It's pretty slow, but he's still fine. Gets the nice 2-cycle.
Yeah, and the boss drops a weapon called Key of the Embedded, which both runners may or may not use for some bosses later.
I think just one boss. I think both might use it for one boss.
I'm not sure. We'll find out though.
Yeah. So this Cyanide here can be a bit of a pain, but Nick was able to get through there.
I wonder if Pseudo will do RTSR Velstart.
It's a difficult setup unless you have it for Frog, so I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So now we're on yet another long elevator. This game loves its long elevators. I believe this is the last one in the run, though.
There's the one after Guardian Dragon as well.
Oh yeah, there is. There's one more.
And then that's the last one.
No wave from Nick. Insane disrespect to the crowd.
So yeah, the
So Nick skipping that bonfire, that's a bit of a risky strat as well, because a death here would then put him all the way back at the beginning of Shrine of Amana. So we're going to see him knock on this guy's shields a couple of times. That's going to make him come forward so he can run through.
yeah, and there's gonna be a little hallway coming up soon where these two knights are blocking the path. But what they're gonna do is they're just gonna fire an arrow at the roof, which will make them look up in confusion, so you can run past them.
So Pseudo is bright bugging early. It's a bit of a risky strategy with no red tier stone ring. It's going to be very tight. Now you see Nick is coming up on the shield hallway here. So we're going to see if he can get the arrow shot. I expect both runners to get the arrow shot, though. They're very good at doing this kind of thing. Yeah, Nick gets it, no problem.
Yeah, and you will see both runners use a bright bug on this fight because Velstad's one of the tankiest bosses in this game.
Yeah, you're going to see that they can't use a bright bug right now because they're being invaded by Nameless Usurper, but there's enough time at the beginning of the Velstad fight after the invader leaves that you can use the bright bug inside the fight. So we'll see Nick here entering the fight. He's going to take a couple steps forward to make sure that the enemies can't hit him through the wall, and then he's going to use his bright bug here while the boss steps forward. And there's a particular strategy for this boss that you can use to make it consistent. Basically, after you hit him 5 times, the next hit with no RTSR will cause him to buff. So you want to hit him 5 times and then just unload your whole stamina bar into him while he buffs. Nick got a little bit of bad RNG there. So he should be okay here, but it's going to be tight. He might have to hit him once or twice after he stands up.
Yeah, he had to go for one more attack, but
he's fine. He made it through just fine. So Pseudo here, you're going to see how the strategy looks when you get the right attacks. He does get a little bit of bad RNG with Velstad jumping backwards, though.
Nice fight for Pseudo.
Yeah, very nice for Pseudo. And Nick now grabbed the King's Ring, which we're going to use to open a couple of doors. So we needed... Basically, the only thing you need to do in this game to beat the game is you need to kill Giant Lord, which allows you to spawn Nashandra to finish the game. Everything else is kind of just window dressing. We needed to get 1,000,000 souls to get to the castle so we could get the King's Ring. We needed the King's Ring to get to Aldia's Keep so we can get the Ashen Mist Heart. And the Ashen Mist Heart is what lets us fight Giant Lord. So now we see Nick is on his way to pick up the red Tearstone Ring. So even no RTSR runs generally use RTSR for the later bosses.
Yeah, specifically the boss coming up, Guardian Dragon, which is
Yeah.
one of the most annoying fights, let's say, in my opinion, for speedruns of this game.
It's a tough boss. You always run the risk of him giving you instant flight. He'll just fly no matter what you do. But the fight is also one of the few in the game that, at least in my opinion, it's easier with Red Tearstone Ring. You're never really in that much danger of dying to this boss, but he'll waste a lot of your time.
Yeah, and you saw they set about this out that night there. Obviously in Vanilla you use the Ogre, but luckily in Scholar they put a nice little enemy there.
Yeah. And with the Bright Bug that we use here as well, and RTSR and a weapon buff, we can kill this dragon basically before he has a chance to do anything. He stands up, he tries to bite you, and then he's dead. Nick
Yeah,
gets
so
Nick gets the stair skip there. Very nice.
Yeah, so you can either use the rapier or the key on Guardian Dragon. I think rapier might be a little bit faster.
I
But
think it's probably a little faster with like ideal attacks and stamina management, but it's also a little more finicky.
yeah. I think both runners are going to use rapier though. Oh, never mind. Pseudo's going to use the key.
Yeah, Pseudo here switching to the key. I think Nick is going to stick to the rapier, so we'll get to see the difference in strategy.
So yeah, they're going to use GPR while waiting for this guy to break down the door here. And I think they're going to go for the roll setup, I'd imagine.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nick's he's gonna roll twice, and he's gonna take a couple of steps forward. It's gonna put him in the perfect spot to poke him in the head 3 times, and then he's gonna get instant flight.
Oh no.
Oh, double flight. That's bad.
Actually.
So, let's see how Pseudo's goes. Pseudo gets better RNG, yeah. Nick with triple flight. Oh no.
Guardian Dragon is also the other great equalizer.
Yeah, sometimes like I said, you're not in a ton of danger of dying to this boss as long as you play it right, but he sometimes just... Oh no! Oh, he got hit by the jump!
That is...
Oh no!
It's pretty much near impossible to come back from that.
That's a bad death. It's going to bring him all the way back to Ruin Fork Road, and he won't have a Bright Bug, and he killed the enemy that'll let him get... Oh, quitting out. I hope Nick isn't forfeiting the race, but he might be, because that's a bad death. That's a really tough one.
Yeah, I was about to say it's been a bit of a trend in this tournament, where a lot of runners who've been in the lead have died to Guardian Dragon. It's really unfortunate. The disrespectful gesture from Pseudo.
The BM from Pseudo.
Oh no!
Oh no!
No sportsmanship here.
That's Pseudo signaling to Fujo that he's next.
Good to see the nice swag zipline they added into Scholar.
Yeah, so it's one of the weirdest decisions I think that they made with this game, is that they just allow you to skip Dragon Area if you want to.
Yeah, in vanilla you normally do what we call the airy jump, but yeah, because they added that for whatever reason, you can just do that. Use the zipline.
So now we're on our way through Dragon Shrine, which is a pretty dangerous area. There's a lot of ways that this area can kill you, and hopefully Pseudo doesn't get any bad RNG. It looks like he's gonna shoot. Is he? Oh no, he's pre-equipping the bow for later. Okay. So that first guy can give you some bad attacks that make it hard to get through, but he made it through okay. And then at the top of these stairs, there's 3 enemies in a hallway that exist to make your life miserable. So hopefully Pseudo gets through no problem on the first try. He didn't take a bonfire along the way, so he makes it through no problem.
Not even taking a hit.
Didn't even take damage. Insane.
What a god gamer.
So you see him doing as well another one of those item cancels, where he used the dark sign before talking, and it saves a few seconds to do that.
Yeah, now he's gonna go kill Giant Lord, and then it'll be time for the final bosses.
So talking to the dragon there is what gives you the Ashen Mist Heart, and the Ashen Mist Heart allows you to enter the memory of certain basically dead NPCs. There's a few places in the game you can use it, but the only one that matters to us for completion is this tree right here that lets us get into Giant Lord.
Yeah, so obviously the reason you have to go through all of Draenei Castle and a mana and Undead Cryptis, because after Velstadt you need to get the King's Ring, which opens King's Gates, which you need to obviously open the gate to get to Giant Lord. So you can get the Ashen Mist Heart to activate the memory for Giant Lord, and then once you kill Giant Lord, the final boss will then spawn.
There is one other spot that you need the King's Ring that's coming up as well, so even if we could skip King's Ring and get Giant Lord to spawn, we'd need to find a second skip as well.
Yeah,
which I think does exist actually, but it's a little bit of a pain.
Yeah, and you saw the pseudo obviously do Giant Lord jump. Normally you would actually need to open the King's Gate for Giant Lord as well.
Yeah, but, the jump there is very handy. It saves about 40 seconds, and then it also happens to be perfect RTSR setup, which is nice.
Yeah. Very nice fight.
Pseudo easily taking care of Giant Lord.
And now it's time for the ONS of this game, basically, Throne Duo and Defender, or Throne Watcher and Defender. Which, yeah. A nice little gank at the end of the game.
I think this Throne Duo would be much better to me if there was some like obstacles in the arena to break up their aggro or something. But as it is, like it's a bit of a bullshit gank, honestly.
Yeah. So he's going to use GPI, he's also going to use his final Bright Bug for this fight.
He jumps off there to take a little bit of fall damage, so that he can have less than max HP going into the fight, and that way he can use a life gem at the beginning of the fight and be able to take a hit and still have some healing.
Yeah, so most runners would obviously use the old Radiant Life Gem, but Pseudo didn't pick them up.
Yeah, I guess he's decided that he's good enough at Duo and Nash and the whole late game that he doesn't need those old Radiant Life Gems.
Also, want to mention that the Bright Bug, obviously, not only is it an amazing item in terms of what it gives for your attack and defense, but it also lasts around 2 minutes. So he uses it there, and it will obviously last into the Nashandra fight as well, unless things go awfully wrong.
Yeah, and it's the reason we buy them all so early in the game, and they do restock after at a lot of different parts in the game. After every Lord Soul you kill, they restock, and after I believe it's Velstadt, and I think when you get Ashen Mist, there's another restock as well. But they get more expensive every time they restock. So the first 3 that you can buy in the game at the very start are 6,000. But if you were to go buy one right now before Throne Duo, they cost 48,000.
Madman, he's not even healing.
Yeah, he's going for, I believe he's going to go for RTSR Nash, but I don't know if his health is good for RTSR Nash. That's really close. Oh, and that's why he got the Smooth and Silky Stone.
Are we? Nah, he's going to heal up.
No, he's, not quite enough health.
He baited us, man.
The insane RTSR Nash bait. But this fight also has a pretty consistent strat, as long as she's nice. Basically, if you use a life gem, her AI is programmed to use this beam, and you can just walk around it and go get some free hits on her. And we see he's going to go for a nice safe 2 beam here.
Alright, very nice.
Very nice from Pseudo. Yeah. That's going to be like a 56-15.
Yeah, GG to Pseudo.
Very good run from Pseudo.
So he will be going on to the grand final of this tournament to face Fujo.
He'll be facing Fujo in the grand finals next weekend. Yep. 56-16, very good run from Pseudo.
Yeah, very nice. Also, Deathless run as well.
Yeah, very clean.
Hello.
I'd GG Pseudo.
Yeah, very
and
clean.
Nick as well. I'd
GG guys.
GG Nick.
And yeah, very
Sorry.
clean run.
Had to do a quick mute on you guys. How do you guys feel about the run? Poor Nick with the crazy rage quit.
Yeah, it was not a rage quit, guys. I knew that I need a flawless run. So as soon as I died, I was like, yep, nothing can be done. It was unfortunate.
Were you watching, Nick?
No, I was not.
Interesting. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, the confidence to rage quit without knowing. I mean, I was on good pace, but even so.
Yeah, no, dude. The mindset that I had was like, no matter what I do, pseudo is the same place as I am, and
It
no
was
matter what I do,
it
if I
was
make a
Yeah.
mistake,
incredibly
pseudo
close.
didn't make this mistake.
Yeah,
So every time that I was like, oh, I got hit, or if I got a better NG, I was like, yeah, so pseudo should be ahead. And even knowing like at the Sendos fight, I was like, okay, I got hit, so even if pseudo got the RTSR, he is in the same place that I am.
Well, you were
No, I
actually
missed the Lucas deal skip.
You
Yeah,
were about 20 seconds ahead at Sentinels, Nick, and then Pseudo caught up a lot with the Rotten Gauntlet. It was about 5 seconds apart heading towards Stranglite Castle. And then you pulled ahead again because Pseudo had just really awful Mirror Knight RNG.
No, it wasn't RNG. I ran too
Well,
far forwards.
Yeah, I guess
Um,
the jump attack
and-
really
and I-
threw everything off.
I knew I was like right on the border. That's why I was so quick to react and heal, because I was looking at it, I was like, I don't like this at all, this bus position. And then I was like, you gonna do it? Are you gonna do it? And then he jumps like, nah. I'm out
Yeah.
here,
yeah.
dude.
So
I'm not fighting this
Honestly
dude without yourself.
frustrated.
yeah,
I'm
once
honestly
you
frustrated about Guardian Dragon. Like, when he flew the first time, I was like, okay, he will land fast and I will punish. But as soon as he landed, he immediately flew again, and I was like, okay,
Ah, yeah.
if I don't get the hit by the feet, I can punish again. And then again, as soon as he got to the ground, he flew again, and I was like, oh, dude, yeah, GG's.
Yeah, I think
I
it was 4 jumps, I think, and the 4th one killed
Mm,
you.
Yeah, I do think so. I was thinking about healing, but I was confident enough to keep my RTSR. But because I knew that if he landed and did one head swipe, I could kill Guardian Dragon with in this situation. But yeah, it was honestly frustrating. And as soon as I died, I just quit out the game. And yeah,
yeah, I mean you were obviously ahead by a couple of seconds at that point, but it was a very unfortunate fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, going into the fight, you were, I would say, about 10 seconds ahead. But then Pseudo had a clean fight, good RNG. And
He did fly. But
yeah, but he
Yeah.
landed right away and didn't fly 4 more times.
yeah, that backup's pretty consistent. So just gotta
Yeah.
not miss time the R2 and not stand in the wrong spot. And you're okay.
So Pseudo, you're going to be going on next week to face Fujo in the grand finals. Are you nervous in any way for that?
I mean, equally, the last 3 races, I've just been nervous for all of them. I know that if I have a run like this and set some kind of 55 or low 56, it's got good chances of winning. I know that I can't really afford to make many mistakes. I've got to be careful about taking peach bonfires. I don't need the undead crypt bonfire. Like, if I die in undead crypt, I'm going to lose, and I just never die there. Like,
Well,
I
obviously,
need to be a bit more careful with with stuff like this. I'll take it from ahead, but I'll play it similarly. Like I played against Nick here, I'll just shadow his run, and if he's playing aggressive, I'll play aggressive. Just same strategy seems to be working so far. So that's all I can do.
I imagine it will be pretty. I imagine it will be pretty nerve-wracking because you'll also need to win 2 matches from the losers bracket into the
Yeah,
winning final
Yeah.
one at a
turn.
time. You know.
have to beat Fujo twice.
Yeah, we will see.
And Fujo, as we can see, he's in the finals. He's a strong competitor.
Yeah, Fujo was my pick for winning the tournament, which never got submitted because I submitted them 6 hours too late. Yeah, I mean, I'm not too surprised. It's a good runner. It should be good fun.
Yeah, it was a very close race today. I hope hopefully it will be similarly close next time, or then we'll be up for a good show here. But
super
yeah, thank you for the race, guys, and thank you for participating in the tournament as well. It's been a good ride, even though you're out now, Nick. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
we were hoping for another exciting rematch against Fujo, but it is what it is. When Pseudo pulls out a very strong race, very strong run here, with very little mistakes. So yeah, that's gonna be it for the losers finals. Expect us to be back roughly same time next week on Saturday, where we'll have the grind finals for Pseudo versus Fujo.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah,
GG.
thanks, guys. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Nick.
Yeah,
Thanks,
GG.
Pseudo. GG's, dude.